Mashpaka. This is going to be a recreation of my video, editing some of the faults that I said in the past. I'm taking out some words and replacing words and correcting what was said. So anyways, today I would like to get into further calendar deciphering and start with the foundation of what a yom is, really. That the yom is only the period of time where light is occurring. That even Yahushua himself has said there is only 12 hours in the yom. The night is a completely separate period of time, that we should not be keeping a 24-hour calendar structure of a day or a yom according to Yahweh's word. I am in Genesis 1, verse 5. Let's go into this verse. And Alehim, which, if you want to know what Alehim means, I do a separate video of what Alehim is. Yahweh Alehim and Al Aliun, Adon, Yahweh Tizbaut. They're all speaking of different higher beings. They are different names, but that's for another time. Anyways, the light, he called the light Yom. Yom means day, only light. The way that we have the word day today is that it means a 24-hour period. Take the way that we use the word day and erase that from your mind when you are reading scriptures. A day is only the yom, which is only the time that light is occurring. And the darkness he called night, or Layla. The darkness is a totally separate thing. It's not included in what a day is. It's its own separate word and time structure altogether. And then he says, and the evening and the morning were the first yom. It says yom. Why does it say the first yom? He's not using a 24-hour period. There was the first yom because the morning happened, which is the period of light. The evening happened as well, but it is a separate period of time that's not considered the yom. I'm in Yukonon, chapter 11, verse 9. And Yahushua answered, and the reason why I'm using Yahushua today, Mashpaka, is I've made a video of it debunking Ayin, as well as the true root name of the Mashiach. Go and search my video. Yahushua answered, are there not 12 hours in the day, or in the yom? If a man walketh in the yom, he stumbleth not, because he seeth the light of the world. Yahushua himself is saying that there is only 12 hours. Why is there 12 hours only in the period of light? Let me explain. Light is occurring at different parts of the latitude and longitude of the world that we're in right now. So in order for it to be simplified for a balance, here is an explanation. The length of daylight varies by latitude and by time of year. At 30 degrees north latitude, for example, daylight is 14 hours long in June and 10 hours long in December. At 60 degrees north latitude, daylight lasts for more than 18 hours in June, but less than 6 hours in December. But at the equator, at the balance of all of the time, in the middle, there is always 12 hours of daylight. Yahushua was speaking of this so it would be balanced, so there wouldn't be some sort of confusion between different latitudes and longitudes of the world and different timekeepings. Yahushua was really smart and knew that. His word is spoken of it. So now we know what the 12 hours of a yom comes from, and the yom is only the period of day. That's why there's only 12 hours. The night is its own completely separate timekeeping and separate part of time that's not included in the structure of what a yom is. It is the Layla, and it is counted in watches. Watches 1 through 4 are happening throughout the night. They're not even calculated in hours, not another 12 hours. They're calculated in watches. 1, 2, 3, 4 watches that are incorporated in 3-hour periods. They're totally separate. And if people do not see this truth, they will never understand the Shabbat, the calendar, at all. That we have it wrong today. Nobody has the true calendar. correct, and I'm going to prove it. Who created the 24-hour period? The ancient Egyptians were the pioneers that created the 24-hour period of time. They were the ones that enslaved the Abarite people, the Hebrew people. And they created the 24-hour period. So, Mashpaka, the only way biblically that we can tell when a 24-hour period is given of time, and I wouldn't call the 24-hour period a day and say that the yom is the day. That's wrong, okay? The yom is the yom. The day is the yom, okay? There's no word of a and the. You're taking it completely out of context to make it be proven right according to you. The only way that we know a 24-hour period is given is when it says evening to evening. There is no such thing as morning to morning in the scriptures. It is morning by morning, which is interpreted like this. Not morning to the next morning. It means every morning. Each morning, its own period, not including the Layla, not including the night. It's just morning by morning. So each morning is what it's saying. Each morning. Not a continuation of time from morning, night, till next morning. Now, Mashpaka, these are some calendars that are going around, and I'm going to debunk them of why they are not true, that we do not have the true calendar, that it is spoken in the book of Hanuk, or Enoch, and it gives the structure, and we have not been able to prove it because we do not have the true first day of spring. We don't have the true start of spring. It is argued amongst calendars. They do not know when it is. Here I am in the first month, Mashpaka, the month of Abib. And it's stating that the first Yom is on a Wednesday, on the 19th. Okay? I'm going to prove to you about the Shabbat. So we do this as the beginning of time. This is the first Yom. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of a sudden Saturday, which is the 7th Yom on the Gregorian calendar, is wrong. The Gregorian calendar does not have the structure of it at all correct, and what their calendar is at all. It is incorrect. This would be considered the 4th Yom. Let me show you, according to this calendar, when the 7th Yom is. Five, 6, 7. Tuesday is considered the 7th Yom according to this calendar, the Torah is light calendar. But this calendar is doing something that other calendars aren't doing. It has spring equinox. So in other words, where it is stating that the beginning is the 19th, it's actually saying the beginning is the 26th. They're saying the 26th is the first Yom of the month of Abib. So that would again mean 1, 2, 3, 4. Saturday is still the 4th Yom. It's not the Shabbat. 5, 6, 7. Tuesday again, the 7th Yom. And then if you go another 7 days, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's the Passover, the Passah, according to this calendar. See what I'm saying, Mashpaka? See why it's so difficult? Because of these intercalation periods, these equinoxes, these timekeepings, the first Yom of spring, as well as correctly having the 1 through 7 days being the 7th day, the Shabbat, correct? It is hard. These calendars have not figured it out yet. Here is another calendar called the Zadok Way calendar. It is stating that the beginning of the year is on Wednesday, 3/26/25. It is using full moons. The 7th Yom is right here. This would be the Shabbat on a Tuesday. Here's the Passover. Up at the top, it's using the spring equinox as well, and using as intercalation weeks. So all of this time right here is used as intercalations. Mashpaka, you see why these calendars are so hard, and why we don't use the Gregorian calendar at all. There was even a calendar before the Gregorian calendar that was a 365-day calendar. The Gregorian calendar, I believe, is a 365.25 calendar. So it's a little bit more correct according to how apparently time is kept. I don't know how correct that is because it's not the correct calendar in the first place. Let's get into another calendar. Here is the TorahCalendar.com. You have to notice everything, Mashpaka. There are only 30 days in each month, and they are using only 29 days. According to Enoch, each month is 30 days, being on the last month of the season being 31 days, being a day of remembrance. These calendars still aren't correct. This calendar is using the lunar as well as being Shabbats and timekeeping. They state that the next day is at evening. They're doing an evening calendar, and they're saying that it is the first showing of the next phase of the moon after the new moon is the first day of the month. Even the way that I'm explaining day of the month right now, how it is, being that is the new day at evening, is wrong. You see, the word day is just taken completely out of context of how it's supposed to be used. The first evening, the Arab, is at the first waxing of the moon, the first moon phase after the new moon, according to this calendar. Their Shabbat is always the Saturday, the same time. If you zoom in, it even says Saturday again. If you keep a lunar day calendar, you can count from here is apparently the new moon, and then here's the first Yom. Fifth day. See how it's the fifth day after this right here is supposed to be the new month. So this right here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Shabbat is on the fifth Yom. So it cannot be true. It cannot be true, Mashpaka. That would mean the Shabbat is on the seventh Yom, which is right here, which would equal to the Pasah, which is on the 14th, which is Passover. They still keep that day correct. Why don't they keep the Shabbat correct? Here's another calendar, Mashpaka. I'm going to show you a lot. According to this calendar, the month of Abib, or March, according to them, the first month is after the Day of Remembrance, being that is the 31st day of the last month of winter. And the first Yom, according to them, is on a Thursday, the 20th of the month of March. There, see what I'm saying? The calendar is all over the place for the start. Nobody has figured it out yet. Everybody has the calendar wrong, and everybody thinks that they have it right. So everybody is in confusion. They don't even know when the start of a Yom is. Everybody's confused, and they're saying that the Shabbat is always on this day or that way, and they do not have it correct yet. 1, 2, 3. Here's Saturday. So you would say the third Yom is the Shabbat? No. The seventh Yom is the Shabbat. According to this calendar, it's on a Wednesday, which coincides with the Pasah, the Passover, which is on the 14th. This calendar is keeping 30-day months. And it's keeping the Day of Remembrance according to the Book of Jubilees. It's hard, Mashpaka. I know it's hard. I know it's hard for you to come out of the lies, the deceptions. They're all over the place, Mashpaka. The point is that you have to be able to have wisdom and discernment about you to know that it's not true. Not having the truth is one thing, right? Like, saying that this is true is one thing, but knowing that it's not true is very important. You have to know what is not truth. You have to be able to discern, to know that you don't have the answer. You have to know that it's just not correct. It's very important. All the scriptures are to be treated that way. To know that something is not correct. It doesn't fit. It doesn't make sense. There's a fault. Providing the answer and knowing the answer is another thing. But the first step is knowing that it's incorrect until it is proven correct and there are no faults in it. This is going to be my final calendar. This is a lunar-based calendar that keeps Shabbat, I believe, on Saturday. The Shabbat is always on Saturday according to them. They also keep a 13th month according to Judaism, Jewish traditions being a 13th month. But there has never been a 13th month provided in any scriptures. The 13th month adds days to the month, to the year, making it add up to over 364 days for a certain year. I believe it's every third or fourth year they do a 13th month to keep time and correct synchronicity of how it's supposed to be according to them. But that would mean the other times of the year they would be less than 364 days, meaning that they're 354, 53, or 55 days for an entire year, and they need to go every 3 or 4 years until they have a additional month added, which is Adar 2. Here is their calendar. They do the new moon, they do it evening, they do Passover at evening. Mashpaka, these times, these appointed times, I'm going to tell you right now, they are specifically at evening according to the scriptures. That does not mean that they're always at evening, and that does not mean that a yom is at evening. Light occurs during the yom. That is the beginning of a day. Literally what the word means. These are appointed times, being festivals and feasts, which is the Muadim, sorry. This is where people are getting confused with moon, appointed times, feasts, new moons. It's the exact words of what they say. There is Chadash, and this means apparently new moon, new month, or monthly, or lunar month. Here is the word for moon, and it's Yarach. This means moon. But the problem is, Mashpaka, is that there are cantillation and vowel marks that apparently corrupt the meaning of Yarach. Let's go over to the next word. Here, it has different vowel points and it means month. So all of a sudden, moon means month now. Here it is again, new moon apparently. Another moon, another month. There is confusion. Here is the word mu'ed, which is appointed place, appointed times, appointed meetings. These are for seasons, feasts, appointed seasons. And this is also being confused with the word of how it's used for the calendar. If it is a mu'ed, or a appointed time that is given to be evening to evening, it is specifically for that instruction. It does not mean that the Shabbat is from evening to evening every Shabbat. It does not mean all of the days start at evening. They don't. It means exactly as they are. These are special appointed times. They are appointed times, special, separate, according to how it is commanded to be for that time to be. That is where everyone is getting confused. So Mashpaka, if you can find out the meaning of moon and Chadash, you would find out the true meaning of when a appointed time is and a new month is. That would give you clues to the calendar. Finding out the puzzle to this is hard. It is very hard, Mashpaka. This could all be eliminated if we could just come to an agreement of when the first day of spring is, because that is the first day of the calendar. And all we would need to do is have 30 days, 30 days, 31 days, 30 days, 30 days, 31 days, over and over until we have 12 months, and then we have 364 days and a 52 week for a year. Perfect time. But the first day of spring is hard to narrow down because there are equinoxes and intercalation weeks apparently, and it doesn't coincide with the people are keeping the full moons, and that timekeeping. They're all confusing it all, and we aren't coming to an agreement. If we want to know timekeepings, we can go into the book of Hanuk, chapter 74, verse 12, and it says the sun and the stars bring on all the years exactly. So the stars are included. Nobody's even talking about the stars. And there is some corruption with the Enoch book as well, because there are different translations and source texts used for it. These are the Yah scriptures. This is their version. This is the Sefer version, and what it says. It is a different verse. It says the moon brings in all the years exactly, that their stations come neither too far or too forward. You see the confusion? How hard the calendar has been hidden, Mashpaka. The way that I understand it is that there are some translations that are from the Ethiopian Bible that uses different translations for the Apocryphal Old Testament, being the book of Hanuk or Enoch. So Mashpaka, which one are you going to use now? The sun or the stars? Or the moon? Which one fits? Who has the correct discernment to know what is truth and what is wrong at this point? Who is going to say what is false and who is going to say what is truth and enlighten everybody to the truth? Who is going to teach of it? As of right now, Mashpaka, I believe the sun and the stars is what is true. And the moon is for appointed times and feasts. Just like in Psalms 104:19 is what it describes. He appointed the moon for seasons, for appointed times, for feasts. And the sun knows it's going down. If you keep a lunar year, it will never be correct, because the moon is always cycling through times, being 29, 30, and 31 days or 28 days. It never has an exact month correct. If you go by the moon, the year will never be 364 days. Your Shabbat will always be thrown off. It will never be a complete 7 days. It will never be, because the moon is not always on a specific time of perfect synchronicity, being always 28 days or 29 days or 30 days. The only thing that is like that is the sun and the stars. And people aren't even talking about the stars. The stars have their own clock. It's called a star clock or a stellar clock or a astronomical clock. The stars move in the sky. We are on a flat earth, and there is a dome over us called a firmament. The stars move around us inside the firmament. The stars and the sun and the moon are inside the firmament. And they're saying right here, can be used this time, what is timed by the position of the stars, or tell where the Big Dipper is, will be at a specific time. That's because the stars are moving. Here's the breakdown of the Big Dipper star clock. It is a tool or method to tell time at night using the Earth's rotation, apparently. They use Earth's rotation, when it's actually the rotation of the stars, the movement of the stars, and the Earth has never been moved. It is on 4 pillars. It is stationary. It does never move. We are the center of all existence. NASA doesn't want anyone to know any of that, as well as other countries. They know the truth. Again, locate the Big Dipper and its pointer stars to find the North Star and use the position as an imaginary 24-hour clock face, rotating counterclockwise. So that is an example of how the stars can be used. Something like this. Mashpaka, if you want the true calendar, you would have to be led to it by the Ruach. This is not something that you can just discover of your own, of bearing witness to yourself. You would have to do nothing of yourself and be led to it, and it would have to be the appointed time for us to be allowed to have this information. It would have to be discovered, be allowed to be shown to us. This isn't something that you would just find. Again, this would have to be given to you to find. And it has not been given yet for the majority of people to see. The answer is out there. So much, Pocket. I hope this clears up the idea of what we have for a calendar, when the Shabbat is, what is the lunar year, what is the solar and star years, what is the time being 364 days, as well as when a Yom actually is, when it begins, why there's not a 24-hour period according to Yahweh except for evening to evening, and there is no such thing as morning to morning, it is morning by morning. I hope this clears up a lot for you, and you have profound understanding needed for the mission that is at hand for us to be able to keep the commands correctly, because as I explained right now, nobody is keeping the calendar or the feasts or the appointed times. Nobody is keeping the commands correctly at this point in time. We are all breaking the commands still. I applaud that we are able to correct this and come together. Come and join me on my Facebook group page. I would share a lot, but you would have to answer the questions before I would even speak with you. I test all Ruach at this point in time. That is all, Mashpaka. Ahaba Shalom.